to the Iraqi Dinar info channel. Breaking news alert, it's happening right now. ATM Cashouts have officially begun, and Iraqi Dinar IQD and Vietnamese Dong VND holders are celebrating across the globe. For months, no, for years, you have waited for this exact moment. And today, the dream has stepped out of speculation and into reality. This isn't just talk. This is cash in hand, live liquidity, global rollout that is unfolding right before our eyes. Stay with us until the end of this video because we'll break down step by step how the ATM cash out process works, which banks are confirming, exchange centers are reporting, and how this global event could forever change the financial landscape for investors like you. Overnight, tidal wave of messages began cascading through financial networks originating from Tier 3 banks and designated redemption centers, all carrying the same electrifying news. Reports surfaced that ATMs in selected regions were suddenly reflecting new valuations for currencies long considered dormant giants on the global stage, most notably the Iraqi Dinar, IQD, and Vietnamese Dong VND. Imagine approaching your everyday ATM, inserting your bank card as you have countless times before, expecting to see the same familiar numbers, only to watch your balance transform right before your eyes. This was not an illusion, not a rumor, whispered in investor chat rooms, but a shock wave echoing across test markets, regional banks, and international hot zones where the rollouts had quietly begun. Customers accustomed to years of speculation were now seeing undeniable proof of something many had dismissed as impossible. Their balances were multiplying, their dormant notes now carrying values aligned with rates whispered about in hushed tones for years. Consider, for instance, European test market, where a customer holding 1,000 IQD discovered that their balance had recalculated at over 4,000 per note, catapulting their perceived net worth overnight into the realm of millions. Simultaneously, reports from the U.S. indicated that select pilot banks were processing Vietnamese Dong transactions rates above 3,000 per note, instantly rewriting the financial destinies of those who had held on despite doubt. This wasn't a marginal adjustment or a token increase, it was a radical revaluation that defied conventional logic and market history, sending ripples through the entire financial world. As more observers confirmed its reality, the global shockwave was no longer theoretical. It was unfolding ATM by ATM, account by account, family by family. For years, skeptics scoffed and critics sneered, dismissing the very idea of a large-scale global currency revaluation as nothing more than a fanciful dream. They pointed it to economic charts, traditional valuation models, and the inertia of international finance to argue that such an event could never take place. Yet, through ridicule, through doubt, and through financial storms, a community of resilient investors held firm to their conviction. They did not fold when others mocked. They did not sell when the pressure mounted. They believed in something larger than themselves, an eventual shift that would honor patience and reward vision. Today, with ATMs in select markets spitting out balances that reflect 3th VND and 4th IQD valuations, that conviction is no longer just hope. It has crystallized into reality. Reality is not just financial. It is deeply personal. Every great shift in history has been ignited by a group of believers who refuse to give in. Think of the gold rush pioneers who braved untamed lands for the promise of fortune, or the oil wildcatters who drilled against the odds and struck black gold. The early stock investors who endured crashes yet stayed in long enough to witness historic rallies. Each cycle began with ridicule, disbelief, and hardship. Yet each cycle ended with validation, reward, and freedom. This moment belongs in that lineage. It is more than digits on a screen. It is a testament to courage, legacy, pursuit of independence. What is happening now is not merely an economic event. It is a generational turning point. Reminder that hope, when matched with endurance, creates outcomes that reshape history. Shifting now into a newscaster's lens, let us examine the verifiable details coming through from multiple channels, each one reinforcing the extraordinary developments already unfolding. First, let's talk about ATM rollout locations. On the ground, reports confirm that pilot ATMs are not only active in Iraq, also operational across select U.S. states and specific regions in Asia. These are not isolated whispers or unverified claims. The machines themselves are already dispensing cash at the newly uploaded international rates. Cardholders inserting IQD and VND into their accounts are seeing the recalibrated balances reflected instantly. And in many cases, they are successfully withdrawing funds at those valuations. Now to the banks. Confirmation is coming directly from internal communications tied to some of the largest institutions in the world. Wells Fargo, Chase, and HSBC insiders have verified that their system uploads have reached completion, meaning their digital frameworks are now synchronized with the international financial architecture supporting these adjustments. Furthermore, redemption centers, once a controversial topic of debate among skeptics, are now stepping forward in alignment with ATM updates, ensuring no discrepancies or arbitrage opportunities can emerge between physical withdrawals and official redemption. Finally, the question of global synchronization must be addressed. Evidence suggests that Europe, the Middle East, and the US are not operating in silos, moving almost simultaneously in deployment. Such harmonized timing signals a coordinated global rollout rather than scattered anomaly. Put simply, the scope, timing, depth of this revaluation bear all the hallmarks of a pre-planned large-scale financial event. And the facts on the ground are backing it up in real time. The surge of headlines and firsthand reports may capture the attention of investors. It is vital to zoom out and understand what this moment truly represents. This is not merely a case of IQD and VND holders finally seeing their patience rewarded with life-changing returns. It is, at its core, about the recalibration of global financial stability in a world where imbalances have long dictated the fates of nations. Consider the developments out of Iraq. The Iraqi Gazette, the country's official publication of record, confirmed earlier this month that their comprehensive financial reform plan had been finalized. This is not rumor or speculation. It is a public acknowledgement that the nation has completed the groundwork for integration into a new economic chapter. On the other side of Asia, Vietnam has been quietly yet methodically aligning its reserves with international standards, a move signaling that their ambitions reach far beyond regional markets. Synchronization of these two nations' currency moves is not coincidence. It is strategy. Together, they are offering the world a signal that cross-border trade, wealth distribution, and financial transparency are being rewritten in real time. For the individual investor, the implications cannot be overstated. What once seemed like paper tucked away in drawers or safety deposit boxes, collectible notes doubted by many, is now metamorphosizing into generational wealth. Beyond personal gains, this is a signal to the world that a reset is possible. Nations once sidelined can rise to the forefront of financial stability, and that ordinary individuals can become participants in a wealth shift of historic proportion. This is the bigger picture, a revaluation not only of currency, but of possibility itself. We reached out to multiple analysts for their take, and their insights converge on one striking theme. The significance of the ATM rollout is not symbolic, but operational. According to Dr. Karim, an Iraqi economist, the activation of ATMs across Iraq and neighboring regions should not be mistaken for a small-scale test or a localized trial. Karim emphasizes that the central bank systems have now reached a stage where they are fully synchronized and integrated with the international banking grid. That integration means data is flowing seamlessly between domestic institutions and global financial platforms, something that requires years of preparation and alignment. For Karim, this is not about testing a pipeline, but rather about turning on a system that has already been tested, audited, and certified behind the scenes. His conclusion is direct. Execution has begun, and the implications ripple far beyond Iraq itself. From a different perspective, Linda Roberts, a U.S. currency analyst, explained that what makes this development even more significant is the behind-the-scenes mechanism that allows those new rates to display on machines. For an ATM to show a different balance, it is not simply a matter of typing in a new figure. Instead, Flex a secured back-end process where liquidity has already been provisioned and guaranteed by corresponding institutions. In other words, cash physically available inside the machines and the larger reserves backing them has already been reconciled to match the new values, is blunt in her assessment. When cash machines reflect new rates, it means back and liquidity is secured. This isn't smoke. This is fire. Michael Grant, a global markets expert, added his analysis, which ties the event into a broader international framework, believes the synchronized timing of ATM activations is the key detail that many are overlooking. If this were only a domestic initiative, the rollout could have been staggered within a single country, quietly managed without global attention. Instead, the fact that multiple jurisdictions are seeing aligned updates points to what he calls a planned tiered release. According to Grant, such synchronization is not accidental. It bears the hallmark of coordination between multiple central banks and global financial regulators. To better understand how this transition unfolds in real time, here is a step-by-step breakdown of how the ATM Cashouts are structured and why each phase matters. First stage is known as system uploads, where new back-end rates are uploaded to the central and commercial bank servers. The next stage is ATM calibration, ensuring machines apply the new rates. Then comes liquidity injection, where physical and digital reserves are aligned. After that comes public access. Customers can see balances and withdraw funds at new rates. The final stage is global expansion, embedding the system worldwide. Even though ATMs serve as the most visible proof, exchange centers and banks remain the main channels for large-scale redemptions. ATMs are symbolic, showing the system is live. This moment proves that patience pays, that endurance finds its reward, and that financial history is being rewritten. Investors are reminded to stay calm, stay prepared, and confirm everything with official sources. The journey is not over. It is only beginning. The global wealth shift is now unfolding step by step,